We'll send it to you right away.
Here we go.
Okie dokie, let's go. Come on.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Loan Officer Breakfast Club. Here we are once again, my friends. April 23rd, 2026. We're going to get started. Jen?
Now.
Perfect. Look at the exquisite timing in that lady. It's like she was born to rock and roll. Awesome stuff. Glad to have everybody here this morning. Looks like we got a bright, shiny group here. Kelly Dutton's in the house. Hello, Kelly Dutton. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I tell you, if I was any better, there'd have to be like 64 of me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, doing good. Thanks for asking. I just right away, too, since we got so much packed in, I always like to introduce Kelly on Thursdays. Don't forget, guys, if you have weird deals that you don't normally do that are in that commercial world or that crazy multifamily SBA, what the heck are you talking about kind of deals that you normally don't do, but that you'd like to hand off to somebody competent and that could get them done timely and get you paid, Kelly Dutton is your girl. You go to workwithoneclick.com. Workwithoneclick.com. We've got the link in the chat there right now. And Kelly is always here, happy to chat in the chat with you guys if you have any questions as we go through the show. Did I get that pretty good, Kelly?
I thought you did really good.
Thank you.
Great morning. I learned all about bowling alleys at 4:00 this morning.
Did you really? Hey, I got a new one for you. If you hadn't got the call, you will. Airplane hangers. Did you get that call?
I have an airplane hanger on file with me right now.
Yeah, that was that Jim? Did Jim give you a call?
I think so. Is they're private pilots, I think.
Here's the thing. I say things all the time and have no idea what I'm talking about. So don't know. I don't know.
True
all
story.
I know is as Jim called me yesterday, said airplane hanger. I said, Kelly Dutton, here's her number. So I don't know. Good luck with that. By the way,
I have not called you yet, Kelly. I will today.
Oh, there he is, right there.
I'm up to speed on it. I have another one in the house.
Okay.
See,
cool.
Jim, she's familiar. I told you she would be. I told you, didn't I? All right. So Kelly Dutton, everybody, give her a big cheer. She's here for all of your strange, bizarre, interesting, sometimes very large loan amount deals that you have no idea what to do with. Workwithoneclick.com. Okay, ladies, my dear ladies, Jen, Kristen, and Justine.
We got it. He's sucking up to Jen and I
know.
this morning because there were several infractions. I'm going to say infractions is how they are. Over the evening hours, and Frank is kind of on Jen and my poop list. He had us on an hour early.
Yep.
Waiting for things, and yeah. So anyway,
Chris, what it is the 7 is right next to the 8.
Continue trying to get back into our good graces, Frank.
Nope.
But don't you feel better for being up a little earlier? Just didn't it? No. Okay.
Not that we weren't awake. It's just that
Listen.
Well, listen. I wanted to get to the crew, the lady crew here, Jen, Kristen, and Justine, just so I don't forget things that we're supposed to say. So, what are the couple of things we're supposed to say right now? Some things that are happening.
Complete loan
today,
officer.
We have the complete loan officer at 2:00 Eastern time for the membership. It's going to be with actually a special guest, Jonas, one of the next level coaches is going to be here.
Cool.
And the topic is the top 40 system that builds business.
Ooh.
I know. It'll be a good one.
Nice. Yeah. That sounds very intriguing. So what time is that? That's at noon Eastern?
Yep. It's at 2:00 Eastern, Frank.
2. Okay. See?
Same time all of our classes are.
Noon, 2, 7, 8, whatever.
Frank's standard time. That's what Carl
says. Yeah. Okay. So that's at 2 Eastern. The complete loan officer, Jonas, is going to rock your world there. So be there if you're a member. Don't forget that. I think what we also wanted to do was talk about. We just want to bring up what happened. The workshop yesterday.
Master class. Right?
Mm-hmm. The master class. Who went to the master class yesterday? Okay, raise your hands. We got some hands raised there. Put it in the chat if you went there. Takeaway. What was a great takeaway? Sue Moody, you raised your hand. Great takeaway. What did you like? What probably several things, but what one thing maybe stood out? Like,
yeah, well, it was several things, and Jimmy just got more into the deep and the wide, how they've talked about that before, and how to concentrate. He did more about the deep, what you need to do when you're doing in the deep of it, and to do, your 4 things is, invite a realtor, one of your top 40, qualified 40, to a national agent, share a new loan program, bring fruit, never bring junk food to realtors, and bring a written sales tactic. It was like I have several pages of notes, but
It was really good. Yeah.
It was really good. And it was, Jimmy's just great to listen to. He's just like right off the cuff. He has
he's
an answer.
He's a little raw and unfiltered. Indeed. Yeah. But it's great. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. All right, great stuff. Thank you, Sue, for sharing. Who else got something cool out of yesterday? Wants to go ahead and share? Go ahead. We got a couple minutes here before we bring on our guest. So
Justin Haymacher. Justin was there.
Oh, somebody said something. What?
Justin Haymacher was there. I want to hear from Justin. What did you take away?
Nothing like getting called out. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it was just a great class. I mean, great refresher, not only on the, I missed her name, the gal that talked before, not just only on the deep, but also the wide, how to go out and build. And it was just different strategy, at least from what I've done or heard before, actually utilizing not just what I would call Thor's Hammers calls or cold calls to agents, but actually going out and stopping by open houses to specifically to connect with them, and then using that as a initial connection point to follow up, and go from there.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I dug that. Yeah. Very, very, very cool. Awesome, man. Well, terrific. Thanks so much. So, I guess you would say you would recommend doing the next one. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. And Natty put something in the chat that this was a big thing for me too. She's quoting Jim here. She said, sometimes I think what else I could do, change jobs, make money somewhere else, etc. And then I realize there is nothing else, and I get back to it. Jim said that yesterday, and I think all of us, everybody on the call was kind of like, yeah, who hasn't had that moment where you're just kind of...
Literally everyone in the loan business has had that moment.
Yep.
It's like, what am I doing here? This is insane. And then when you really sit down and think about it, it's like, I really can't do anything else. It's what else would I do? There's really not a lot of opportunity out there where you can enter into an industry and make the money that we can make here. It's just ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. So
I know. I hear somebody.
All right.
I got
there
it.
we go. Okay.
You got somebody? All right.
No,
good.
no, we got it. We got it.
Okay, cool. All right. So anything else in the chat, Kristen or Justine or Jen, that we want to address before we start
Sharon
moving
put in
forward?
here, which I like. She said she enjoyed the individual agent notes and keeping up with your activities with those agents. She liked the old school notes.
Good. Yep. And when she's talking about notes, like taking notes about personal notes about or sending personal notes, I confused there.
Taking notes about.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Jim kind of did a deep dive, and he had like a whiteboard up, and he was just doing this quad sheet, and he did a deep dive into how he does it and spent some time about why it works this way and why it's important. And so I think that was just taking it a step
Really
further.
wonderful.
There was a lot of clarity in what he was saying. And I agree, Sharon, I'm an old school pen and paper person too, so that resonated with me.
It's so cool that we can attend something like that for free. Just, you know what I mean? As an LO, get in there, get some great stuff, walk away with great stuff that we can implement to, improve the business. It's awesome. Cool stuff. Mr. Rudy Devers has his hand up, and then we'll segue over. What do you got, Rude?
Well, just as far as that personal note situation goes, I was talking to an agent, one of my post coffees, and she told me she was going through something pretty horrific right now. So I sent her a box of candy and said, "Hey, listen, you probably need something sweet about now." So sent that to her, and then she went away for a while, and then she came back, and then she called me up the other day, and I was talking to Frank about this. They called me and want me to help. She's part owner and a builder, and she owns. She told me initially it was 80 homes a year, and I found out yesterday in talking to the builder that they're planning to do 154 units this year. So they want me to do the lending on it. So just a little personal note, just a little box of candy, a little $20 box of candy, and now I got hold of a goddamn freaking elephant, and I got to try to figure out how to kill it like Tarzan.
One bite at a time.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't even know what the hell I'm doing with it, man. I'm just trying to fight it. That's all.
Yeah, but you're gonna fake it great, just great. Yeah, it pays, man. It pays to make notes about what's going on. And Rudy's so good about it. You know what I mean? Team, like he's so good about doing those thoughtful things. You know,
He is. He's
I wish I
very,
was better
very
at
thoughtful.
that. You know, I wish I was
Frank,
better.
you do need to work on that.
Divorce teaches you that, brother, for sure. You get the big D word going on it, you start taking notes.
All right. Well, let's move on, guys. This has been great. Thanks for all the sharing. And now we are going to bring up. Oh, wait. I have to remember what button I have to push here. Hold on. I don't want to screw this up because I don't want to push the Kristen's Corner one because that's not the right one. So I want to make sure I push the right one.
And now it's time for our Mortgage Marketing Animal and Freedom Club members Spotlight. Please welcome today's guest.
We haven't had that walk-up music in a while.
I missed that one.
Yeah, the members Spotlight. Yeah. So today we have a really cool guy, Brandon Hutcheson, and I think I said it correctly, right?
You did. Nice job.
I'm pretty good at it. Yeah. I was in the Navy. You don't know this. You don't know me, Brandon, but I was in the Navy. So I'm basically a linguist, you know.
Lots of skills we don't know about. Indeed.
Many. Most we can't talk about, right? Because I'm still under that confidentiality.
I think everyone appreciates that.
Yeah, you're probably right. I know you're new here, but I am going to give you that and the laugh track. Okay. So, hey, listen, guys, Brandon he's a next level coach. He's also an originator. He's also a branch manager. So I want to get that out of the way. High level producer. And apparently one hell of a dancer. That's what I've heard. So
maybe if you're lucky, you'll get to see it later.
Yeah. So, anyways, we wanted to have Brandon on, and he and I were chatting a bit yesterday, you know, getting to know each other. And, you know, I was asking him, well, how's things going? And, you know, that kind of thing. And we want to talk about something. But before we do, we want to run a poll. Now, here's the thing. We may not do this properly. We're going to try our best. We've done this before, but we haven't done it in a while. So we're going to try and deploy the poll. Let's go. Jen, can you? Okay, the poll question is up. You should be able to see it. It says, have you ever experienced a business-crushing life event? You know what we're talking about? Like we have, you know, there's all kinds of things that can derail us in our business, but sometimes you can have a business crushing life event, like things that are, you know, let's be honest, they're trying, catastrophic, right? Things that happen in your personal life that could be just really, really impactful and take a toll on your business, take a toll on your personal life. Just out of curiosity, everybody's in here.
Have you had one, Frank?
I have. I certainly have. A very big one.
I've had two in my career. I've had two, like, just devastating.
Yes.
You know, didn't know if I was going to get through it, kind of thing. I knew I was going to live, so it wasn't a health issue. But like I didn't know if I was going to, you know, financially survive it.
Yeah, indeed. Me too. And emotionally. I mean, yeah, it was, mine was very catastrophic. And, you know, I've had a couple of, you know, pretty big ones, but one in particular was extremely big. So, but yeah. And so you know, Carl, I'm glad you're here because we've been talking a bit about, so it looks like, golly, what's the percentage of it? Let's see.
67% said yes.
Okay.
We have had in the past. 12% yes, they're going through one right now.
Oh, see.
And 23% said thankfully no.
Praise the Lord. Thankfully no. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Okay, we can get that down, share the results, and we will go from there. So not uncommon, not unknown, right, to a lot of people. And this is what I wanted to talk about because Brandon is no stranger to this. You've been talking about this a lot, Carl, and so is Jimmy. Recovery time. We talk recovery time and that kind of a thing. And there's recovery time when it comes to, hey, I had a bad phone call, or recovery time, other things, that are, we think are kind of big at the moment, but are actually small things. But how do we recover from major things, right? Big deal things. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about with Brandon, because Brandon, I'd like you to share your story a little bit here and tell us briefly let us know your life event. That was pretty crushing. It was just last year. And, but you've managed to, get through this, brother. And I just was hoping you could share some, give us some wisdom on getting through these major life events that can derail us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to tell people that I've had, I guess, 3 catastrophic financial events in my life. The first one, as many of us who were in the mortgage industry in 2008, we all had that one, right? Then I got divorced in 2019, so that was pretty catastrophic. But then I didn't think that I was going to have one that was bigger than both of those combined. But that happened to me in 2025, so it was really interesting. So after my divorce, I'd been in the mortgage industry for a long time, had been, a really good producer, made a lot of money, been smart with money, done some things like that. But I had this like overwhelming panic that, oh God, I'm broke, I've got to make more money. I've got to recover after my divorce. And so I started a real estate business. We were building houses, we were flipping houses, we did some small developments, we had a bunch of rental properties, had legitimate business, had about 6, 7, 8 employees, had a bunch of subcontractors, had some builder partnerships that we did some things with. So just a lot of things going on. Unfortunately, couple things unfortunate, I guess. One is that did distract me some from my one thing, and you got to keep your main thing, the main thing, mortgage business. So it distracted me. So took my foot off the gas for a little while, which turned out to be the worst time in the history of the mortgage industry to take your foot off the gas was, post COVID. But then the catastrophic event happened. I was on actually our like peak performers, top performers trip, whatever, last year in Mexico, and I got a text message, and someone's like, "Did you know this?" And I was like, "No, I did not." And it was an indictment for my CPA, my bookkeeper, and my he was my payroll person too. So he was indicted for money laundering, wire fraud, tax fraud, and racketeering, and one other charge. Anyway, he ended up being sentenced last year as well in December to 9.5 years in federal prison. He had been doing all of our books for the real estate company there for over 5 years. He'd been doing our taxes, as my personal taxes, for 8 years. Anyway, it was just the perfect combination. So first lesson I want to share with everybody is, one, don't ever let one person have control of all those things and have check writing authority because that will get you in trouble really quickly. So I came back early from the trip in Mexico, and of course I was this overwhelming like state of panic. I didn't really know what was going on. I was like, man, what's going on? He wasn't in jail yet. He'd been let out, and so I talked to him, and he was like, oh, it's all BS. It's all going to go away, whatever. Of course, it didn't. I started digging in, and I had just been trusting him because he would send me records, and I started looking through things and digging deeper, and things weren't matching up, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Anyway, 4 days later, I got my first notice from the IRS that I was being audited. Then the next day, I got another notice from the IRS I was being audited for another year. And then the next day, I got a notice from the IRS that we hadn't paid any payroll taxes in over 5 years.
Whoa!
That money had been coming. That money had been coming out of the account, as had a lot of other things that he said he was paying. So anyway, it turned out to be just quite the catastrophe. Had to liquidate most. We had about 30 rental properties, had to liquidate most all of those, had a lot of debt. When I say a lot of debt, like 7 figures of debt, didn't even know that we had. Also, one of the bigger problems was kind of unintended consequences. He was doing P&Ls and personal financial statements for me because I was doing a lot of like commercial borrowing money, things like that, in like development and flips and things of that nature. And so he was preparing those for me. And a few months before that, my financial advisor had told me that based on information from my bookkeeper, accountant guy, right, that I could retire. Hey, you're done. You can do whatever you want. And, it's great. Then all of a sudden, I come to find out that all those books were fake. Because he was stealing money so many different places and doing so many fraudulent things. We were actually in a really like terribly negative cash flow situation. The very first month last year that I took back control of the books after he had gotten indicted, I noticed that we were operating at about a $50,000 deficit that month.
Wow.
So the reason was because there was a lot of debt that things were supposed to be paid off. Like we would do a flip and he would not be paid. He had not paid off like commercial lines of credit that we used to do flips with. Same thing with some other ones. So I had a couple, I had like a builder's line of credit and I had several like other commercial lines of credit. Anyway, all that to be said, there was quite the catastrophe there with regards to negative cash flow. The IRS, I still have some IRS issues. It all started, we got it audited in 2024 for 2021, which whoever was in the mortgage business knows 2021 was a great year in the mortgage business, right? Made lots of money. And I made even more money in real estate in 2021. So, we had a lot of things. We built about 15 houses that year. We flipped about 10 and we did 2 development deals, plus probably bought 15 rental properties that year. So there was a lot of things going on. Got audited. I'd signed power of attorney. I gave him all of my original papers. He sent me a text message and an email saying, hey, went to the audit. Everything's good. Everything's taken care of. He never even showed up for the audit.
Wow.
Yeah. And I never got all my originals back. So anyway, yeah, so that all came to a head late last year when I got a lien and judgment and levy filed against me by the IRS. I still have a 7-figure IRS bill that I'm working out right now. I have 2 tax attorneys and I have 2 CPA firms that are working. One's doing a forensic accounting and one is doing basically trying to help us clean up right now because also we had 23 and 24, which turned out to be a blessing. He hadn't filed those tax returns. So he'd given me tax returns and said he had filed them, but it was really a blessing that he hadn't because he was committing so much fraud. So what he was doing on the taxes is he would give me, the taxpayer, here's your tax return. And bear in mind, I've been in the mortgage industry for 24 years. I look at tax returns all the time, right? I know what I'm looking at. I would look at him, everything would say, we're good here. He'd say, hey, you owe 100,000, 200,000, whatever the number is. He would pull that money out of the account to make the payment to the IRS. He would then turn around and he would do another tax return and make fraudulent write-offs and then give that return to the IRS and say that I owed $10,000 and he would keep the difference, right? So there was so many ways that he was stealing money. He was stealing money through payroll. He was stealing money through not paying off our lines of credit, our creditors, things like that. And then he was also taking tax money that should have been paid, like for personal income taxes. So I had three audits. Currently, they closed 2 of them and filed lien and judgments against me. And I still have 1 open audit, and then I had 2 years that were not filed that I had returns for. So had 5 years of tax issues. There may be more if they go back further, which they will. My tax attorney told me that I'll be audited at least for the next 6 or 7 years, no matter what. So just be prepared. But dealing with all that, and so I started obviously having overwhelming panic, anxiety. I'll be honest, a couple months I didn't even go to work in the mortgage business last year. There was probably 3 months that some days I couldn't get out of bed. I had panic attacks, see my doctor. I had to go get on, anxiety medication. I didn't know what to do. Totally out of control. It's like every day I would open the mailbox and, or get an email and some bad news would hit. And I was like, no way to stop it. So in that time, I still had a pretty decent sized mortgage team. 5 years ago, I had like 11, 12 people on my mortgage team. I still had several people. I think I still had 4 or 5 people at that time on my mortgage team. But then, of course, when the person who's supposed to be driving the business comes in, the leads start going down when you don't work for several months. Your business goes down. So my personal income went down. Bad time to have your personal income go way down. Have your worst year in 15 years. I got in a deficit to my company and my P&L, right? Because I was way overstaffed for not doing business. So it was like just compounding. Everything was compounding. It was just stress, anxiety, things getting worse and worse. And I really felt like I was just slipping out of control and didn't know what to do or didn't know how to recover. So
let me interrupt just because we're close on time.
Yeah.
Clearly catastrophic life event, right?
Yeah.
Not fun. Still lingers, right? Tell us how you flipped it around. How did you make the turn to go, you know what? I gotta get back on this.
Yeah, so there was a
Hey,
couple.
hey, Brandon, just real quick, how many units did you close last year?
We closed just personally, I closed about 90.
Hold on. We got it. There you go. Couldn't hear you. What?
Yeah, about 90 personally.
So I just want to give one point. Going through just a horrific situation. I've heard you share this. You shared it to me one time, and then now hearing you share it for a second time. Just an absolutely catastrophic situation. And yet, even going through it, I get it. It's down from what you're used to, but you're still like in the top 1, 2% in the nation going through this thing just to begin with. So it's just, I can't wait to hear how you overcame to number one, be able to get out of bed, much less still be in the top 2%, not in the top 0.1% that you're used to, but still to most people, like, holy cow, I wish I could close that many in a good year, much less going through a catastrophic situation. So how'd you get through it?
Yeah, so there was a couple things really. Frank and I were talking about this yesterday, and I was like, really the keys that I found. The first one was, obviously having friends and mentors, people that cared about me, people that looked in, and people that were like, hey, are you okay? So I would encourage everybody, like, if you have people in your life that are going through things, like, be there for them because there's times when you don't expect it, right? Where you're going to need people like that. And so I had some really good friends and mentors that checked in on me and really like loved me and helped me through that. That was big. For me, I was really kind of at that place where it had been super easy to go to down a bad path as far as self-soothing, right? Like drugs, alcohol. Many people in our industry have done that, and can't say that all of us haven't thought about it or tried it or things like that. But instead, I really turned to like health and fitness. Exercise. I was exercising because I couldn't sleep. So I would just get up and I still get up like crazy early and just, I'll just exercise for a couple hours just to really like get myself, but it's a way to slow my brain down. And so Tony Robbins says, if you want to change your life, change your physiology. And so really like just get up and move. And it made a really profound impact there. Just really looking after that. And it helped me, like I say, just get to a better place there. And then the other thing was just learning, right? Like I coach with Next Level. But I have a coach too. I actually have a couple of coaches. So I think like continuing to learn. When I'm at the gym, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to business books, I'm listening to leadership books. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can get better because I think that like if we stop learning, like that's when really trouble sets in. And I look back at like all the times in my life, like when I took my foot off the gas, when I got distracted, when all the things, um, I wasn't learning, I wasn't trying to get better. And so I think that we always have to be doing that because there's a part of our brain, fitness does it as well. Like I say, the physiology, when you move your body, there's a part of your brain that comes on that turns the other part off, like with the anxiety. And it's the same thing when you're learning. You can't be in this anxious state while you're learning.
Right.
You can't be in this anxious state when you're full of gratitude either. So gratitude is a very important one as well. So I mean, there's just a lot. I've studied a lot just about like the neuroscience of things and really how your brain and your body works and tying it all together. But just really, there's I think you always have to be looking at those things and the thing is, I mean, we talk about recovery rate, and I mean, yes, we all encounter things. We have the client who shops us, we have the realtor who, we feel like goes behind our back and pulls a deal, or not loyal, or whatever the things are. All the things we go through on a daily basis, and we have to recover. But I think the more that life slaps you in the face, more important recovery rate is. And my recovery rate wasn't good last year, but it's much better now, just because I've learned these lessons and I've seen what the keys are that I have to do to be able to get through things and to make it better. And failure teaches us a lot.
Yeah. Would you say all of this has made you a better coach?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, as you can tell, I am super honest, brutally
Yeah.
honest. I believe authenticity is like very, very key in relationships. Like when you're building relationships with business partners, when you're building, rapport with clients, but especially like in the coaching, right? Either if you're being coached or if you are a coach, like it's true. It helps a lot for your students to see as a coach, hey, this person has gone through the crap too, right? Like they have been in it or they're in it right now. they're real. They're not just this person sitting up there in the ivory tower who does all this business and they can't relate. They've got 12 assistants. They can't relate to what I'm doing. When people tell me, say, hey, I don't have time for this, right? I don't have any help, any assistance. Last year, I had to lay off everybody except for my team captain, who's been with me for 12 years, right? Like I got down, like say, the smallest team I had in a long time. So I mean, I understand. And I had meetings, some weeks I had meetings with the FBI, the FTC, the IRS criminal division. Let's see, there was like 5 government entities, plus my tax attorney, plus my CPA firm. And so when these people call and they only work business hours, how am I supposed to get stuff done? This is when I was coming back and when I was actually closing loans and I was doing work. And so it's like, I understand what it's like to say, hey, I'm busy and I don't have time for that, or I don't have the people to help me do it. But you know what? Again, it's that recovery rate. We have to be able to turn that off. We get the bad news. All right, now compartmentalize. And how do we get to doing what we know we have to do? Because our job is not that complicated. We still have to prospect. Like the number one job of someone in the lending business, we have to prospect. We have to generate leads, and then we have to convert leads.
Advice that you'll give to someone right now before we get out of here. Advice for those who may be going through something they feel is, derailing them, whether it be a major life event or a minor thing, advice.
Yeah. I mean, I think, just be honest with yourself, be honest with the people around you. Everybody goes through things, right? Sometimes with social media, everything is glamorized. Everybody thinks people's life is perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. I will tell you, bar none, people relate to you much better. They'll respect you better. You'll be able to build relationships much easier by being authentic. So share with people, because people care about you and they want to help you. But many times we think we have to bear this whole thing ourselves. We're part of this community, right? We're all part of this community here. We're part of in our coaching program, things like that. So don't be afraid to share. Don't be embarrassed. There are people that will care and that have helped you. Somebody has walked through things like this or things worse than what you're going through. I promise. Like every time you think things can't be worse, right? What do they say when you see someone, you're tired of running, but you see someone with no legs, right? And so there's always someone who has something worse. There's always many things that are happening that could be a lot worse. There's people who've went through it. And so I think just, reaching out, having a community around you. A couple of other keys and like lessons that I learned the hard way. Like I say, don't ever make sure that you separate, kind of like when you invest and you diversify, make sure you separate. If you own a business, don't have one person in control of all those different compartments. Don't ever let anybody have check writing authority for you. So that's an important lesson. Really with the mortgage business though, it's always keep the main thing the main thing. I was talking about this on my coaching calls yesterday, is like, is what you're passionate about and what fills you up, does that generate revenue? If you can get those things to align and you do that every single day, you won't ever be in that trouble where your income is going down or where you're on that roller coaster of production, because you're keeping the main thing the main thing. I like to boil things down super simple. And as long as you do that, and for us, it's just prospecting, right? Generating business, figuring out the ways to get out there and get business no matter what's going on in life.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. Kristen, what was the link? If you guys are, I don't even know how to segue to this link really, but look, if this resonated with you, you want to learn, maybe get connected with Brandon, right? Learn about, he gets coached. He is a coach as well. Learn more about that. The link's already there. It's MMAnextlevel.com, MMAnextlevel.com. Give us some information, somebody to get in touch with you and start chatting with you about this.
If you want to learn how to run a marathon, talk to some guy or some lady that just finished 100 miles.
There you go.
Not they read about it in a book, or I went to a Tony Robbins convention one time and I learned that. No. That I always thought, Brandon, we only grow when somebody puts weights on our barbells. Brother, you've got the arms of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just saying.
You do.
So that's an impressive story. Appreciate you coming on here and being vulnerable. And
I appreciate you, Carl.
You're good.
Yeah.
Good man.
Thanks for sharing that story, man. I know it meant a lot to a lot of people, and we're going to have Brandon back quite a bit, guys. Don't worry. And we're going to dig a little deeper into that brain and get a little snippet coaching out of that guy.
By the way, I'm doing a podcast with him today. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Frank, we all own it, so I can.
That's right.
So I'm doing a podcast with Brandon today. One of our topics, I'm going to try to snag him for a couple topics. One of our topics is he shared how he gets 95 to 96% of all his leads. He has a conversation, like he has a contact with. I don't mean he reaches out to them. He gets a response back. Now, some of them tell him to pound sand. Some of them tell him, sure, man, let's do this. Right. But 95 to 96% of all of his leads, he has a conversation with. He's communicating back and forth with. Highest number I've ever heard of. And so we're going to be laying that out on the podcast today. So good stuff, Brandon. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. So MMAnextlevel.com. Learn more. MMAnextlevel.com. Get connected. Brandon, thank you, brother. It's great. Thanks for being vulnerable with us. Next time you hear, though, we're gonna sidestep that and dig into some fun stuff. Not that this wasn't fun. It was very fun, but dig into some very interesting, cool things that are going to help people out quite a bit. So
yeah, this is not the end of Brandon's story.
No.
This is not the end. No. Right. Good stuff. All right, guys.
I've been on some of Brandon's coaching calls, and they're super powerful. Really good stuff. Really good strategies. He just boils it down to amazing. He's really, really good.
Yeah. And Brandon, you coach several of the people in our group, right? Brandon coaches several. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
several groups. So yeah, I enjoy it. I love coaching. It's really one of my favorite parts, like coaching, teaching. So it's find the things that fill you up. I mean, that's the things that fill me up. I love giving back, love doing that sort of thing. I teach realtors classes. It's a way of doing that. I mean, it's a good way. So if you're not in front of realtors in that way, if you enjoy that, something to look into. So.
Patrick McCabe is in the chat saying he's the best. So I think you coach Patrick.
I do. Thanks, Patrick.
Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Well, great stuff, guys. Thanks for showing up today. Super appreciate you. Today is Thursday. It's pre-approved and looking day. Don't forget. Those people that are pre-approved and looking, check in on them, seeing if they're looking this weekend, maybe if they need a new letter, keep them encouraged, right? Let them know you're here. Ask for a referral, touch the lead, touch the partner. So the agent that referred you, be sure to contact them, let them know you've reached out to the prospect that they sent you. Ask them for more business. That's what you do. Oh, there's a Thursday text. Don't forget that. Text your agent saying, hey, if you're showing property this weekend, need to get somebody pre-approved, let me know. I'm ready to help. So it's a good use of your time. So many things we can do. Right, Brandon? So many things we can do today. So many things we can do, man. All right. Well, thanks so much. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Brandon. It's been a great pleasure. You guys have a great day. We'll be back with Chris Johnstone tomorrow. Chris Johnstone. Oh, wait. We're going to record scratch. Here. What are we doing tomorrow, Chris?
So Claude Cowork Connectors. This is the final in our 3-part series on Claude Cowork.
Okay.
And this is the final part of actually turning it into a personal assistant for you. So we went through skills and how to take employees and make documents that can do all your tasks for you. Now we're going to give those employees access to the tools that they need to actually do the work.
Nice. It's going to be epic. Super fun. All right, that's tomorrow here on the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, my friends. We'll do this all over again and say goodbye once more. We'll see you guys later. Adios. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, team. See you guys. Adios.
Guys.
Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much, Brandon.